Hi, everyone. A very good evening to all of you. I welcome you to this session. Ask me anything, right? And I'll also talk to you about how you can go about your VRC preparation if you're starting today, right? So, this is just for reference. This is an AMA. You can ask me any queries that you want to. Yeah? So, let's go. Okay. So, give me a hi, a hello. Let me know that I'm visible and audible. Okay. Hello, Harshit. Hi, Pikachu. Is it worth it? IIM के लोग lay off हो रहे हैं. Is it worth it? Okay. Flora girl, hello. Okay. So, Pikachu, see this that people get laid off for multiple reasons, right? But if you keep upskilling, so IIMs are not the answer to everything. As in, okay, if I've got into an IIM, that means I have lifetime job security. That is not the meaning of getting an MBA or getting into an IIM, right? So, however, it will definitely give you a skill set that even if, let's say, those people who are getting laid off or fired, they do have some skill set that they can start again, okay, in another company. So don't think that just because people are getting laid off, and this also is a very generic statement, okay, what is your source, how many people, what percentage, right? There are so many angles to it. So that should not be the basis of your decision, okay? I've recently joined R3. Please tell me how to start with all the backlogs. Also, kindly tell the strategy for full preparation in brief. Okay, so that I don't get any confusion in future. Great. Okay. All right, Tanishk. Noted. So, first, let's talk about your backlogs. Okay, let me just take the help of this slide to talk about backlogs. Now, this is a very common question that students have when they join a batch slightly later, right? So, my suggestion to you is that in all the classes that we conduct, we have concept sessions and practice sessions. At least that's what I do for VRC. Okay, so this is something that is an absolute essential, right? It's a sine qua non. Here's a vocabulary phrase for you. Okay, it's absolutely essential that you go through these concept sessions. So, whenever I take a practice session, I write practice in front of it. So, these are very easy to distinguish. Now, as far as the concept sessions are concerned, of course, it's not just concept. We'll, of course, have some questions to help cement that concept. So, what you can do is just listen to me while I'm talking about the concept, understand that concept, and then you can practice these questions on your own and see whether you get them right or not. If, let's say, you got just this one question wrong, then watch the explanation for just this one question. When you are listening to me for the concept, you can go 1.25x there, right? You can increase the speed a little slightly, a little more, okay, than the usual speed, so that you are able to finish the class. Let's say if it's a 2 hour class, I think if you follow this, you will be able to finish it in 1.25 to 1.5 hours, right? So this is the way you go about your backlogs. First, go about the concept sessions, right? And if you ask me, I can even tell you in R3, we have had these concept sessions. The introduction classes are important in the sense, see, you can uh, see what you want to take away from them, but they are important because here I talk to you about the roadmap, the plan, right? Okay, I also give you some sources for your articles, the sources from where you have to read your articles. This is important because you'll learn a lot of vocabulary words here. And then there are CR concept classes. That's all that has happened in R3, right? So you have inference class, assumption class, strengthening and weakening concept class. This is what we have done so far. So these 6 sessions are a must watch. Okay, all right. Now, I'll just talk to you about the preparation as well. Okay, let me just take a couple more queries. Divya, that's okay. Being weak in VRC is not a problem, but you should be willing to improve, right? Devansh is saying, I got 98.85 in CAT 2025 VRC, planning to appear again in 26. How to improve the verbal ability part and unable to comprehend dense RCs as well. Okay, so VA and dense RCs, that's the question, right? what to do about VA, what to do about dense RCs. Let me just very specifically address this. So, as far as VA is concerned, it is definitely a higher order thinking skill as compared to even RCs, right? So, you have to, first of all, be very clear with its concepts, and that's just a part of the job done. Practice matters a lot here, right? So, since you are a repeater, right away you can do this, that you can practice 8 VA questions every day. Now, you can go concept wise. So, let's say for 1 week, you practice just para summary. The next week, you practice just missing sentence. Or if you feel like that, okay, now all my concepts of all these topics are clear, all these question types are clear, you can go for mixed practice as well. So, practice more this time. Okay, that will close the coverage gap. Maybe last time the gap was of coverage. You didn't cover all the question types very well. So this will close the coverage gap. It will also close the practice gap, if any. Right? And of course, if you are enrolled with us this year as well, we have verbal ability tests. You can take those tests as well. This will give you time to practice, which is of course very, very important. It will also make you analyze because we have detailed solutions. Okay, so time to practice plus analysis, this is what will make you excel in VA. Is just imagine if you practice 8 VA questions every day, then till November you would have practiced a lot of questions to increase your comprehension and your speed as well. Now, as far as dense RCs are concerned, now there are certain tricks that you can apply. First, let me talk about those tricks. If, let's say, now I have read a lot, right? I have done a lot of background reading. I tried to understand all the major philosophies, all the major political philosophies. But despite that, there is a possibility, right, that the RC that appears in the exam is a complex, it's difficult, and it does not come from an area that I'm very familiar with. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with that particular topic. So, how to deal with it? First is visualization. Whatever I am able to understand from those complex sentences, I will try to imagine it like a picture, in the form of a picture. Second, if the sentences are long, I will break them into shorter sentences. If they have complex words, I will contextually infer the meaning. I will try to unpackage words. Okay. So if it says, oh, this is irreprehensible, let's say I don't know the meaning of irreprehensible, but the surrounding sentences are also negative without any but or however, then probably this idea is also negative. So I'll visualize, I will unpackage. Okay. And these two will work despite my lack of knowledge there. And of course, at this very stage, this is the beginning stage, you can gather a lot of knowledge and you can do a lot of practice. So this is how you tackle dense RCs. Whenever you go through a dense RC, after attempting it, gather some background knowledge of the topic, right? Read more and more articles like this. You can always ask AI to suggest you more topics like this, more articles like this, and do practice the difficult level RCs. That's it. Okay. All right. Harshit, so that's two people out of, let's say, a pool of whatever their batch strength is, right? Um, we need more data. Uh, in August, I'll be turning 27. I'm doing family business since for the last 4 years. Okay. I took CAT twice. Okay. Should I repeat or quit? All right. Um, this is a very personal decision, Harshit, right? It depends on what your goals are. If you want to continue in your family business, if you feel satisfied there, if you feel that you do not need an MBA to run your family business, then you can decide not to go ahead. If, however, you want to, let's say, expand your family business and you feel that you need MBA for it, or if you're not satisfied with being in your family business, you want to, let's say, work in an MNC for some years, then start your own startup, right? If that is the dream, then in that case, you may decide to continue. Just remember that if you decide to continue, you'll have to be willing to work hard again, to go through the same routine, and in fact better that routine again, right? When did I come back from Scotland, Mohan? I came back in 2020. Was it 4? Yeah, I came back in 2024. Hmm. I am an agri student. Can I crack CAT if I started from now itself? Yes, absolutely. We have so many of our, former students. They had an agriculture background. So you can just see one student's interview. Satabdi, one of our students, she made it to FMS. She had an agriculture background from BHU, right? So yeah, you can absolutely crack it. Okay. Samanoy, as a college student, I won't be able to take R4. Okay. Can I take R3 as this is my first time taking CAT and I'm not from any commerce or BBA background? Any commerce or BBA background is not a special advantage in CAT. You can enroll in R3, just that you'll have some backlogs. And for VARCC, I have already told you these 6 sessions are what we have done in terms of concepts, right? So, yes, if you can, handle the backlogs, which I believe are doable since it's been roughly a month since R3 launched. So I think yes, you can consider enrolling in it. You'll just have to be a little proactive with covering backlogs. Initially, it'll take you a little more effort. Okay. All right. If the average profile. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Let's see. We have a couple of questions on our English channel as well. Let me just address those as well. Okay. So here are the queries. Okay. And we also have some from the Insta AMA. Just a second. All right. So from the English channel, we have some queries. Rathor Golu is asking, I'm a fresher. I haven't read any book so far. And as per your book recommendations, I've decided to go for Harry Potter. So should I complete all books, then go for others, or I can read other books along as well? You can absolutely read other books along with the current book that you're reading. Okay, and anyway, Harry Potter is a big series, it's a long series. So I would not recommend just going through that series because it might end up taking 2-3 months of yours, right? And we don't just want to go for one series for a span of 2-3 months, right? So Harry Potter, the first book was just to get you interested in, let's say, reading. The idea is not to complete the series in relation to your prep, right? So you can, in fact, after the first book, go for other, branch out to other fiction books, branch out to other non-fiction books, right? Shiv Nayak is asking, I'm a working professional and it's hard to manage time. So please guide in a proper way and please help me with the importance of revision. Okay. So, Shiv, I absolutely understand that if you are a working professional, you will not be able to give the kind of time that, let's say, a college student is giving during the weekdays. And that's absolutely okay. And I think you should start from a place of accepting that, okay, maybe on the weekdays, I'll be able to give just 60 minutes, okay, to my prep. I expect you to give 60 minutes on the weekdays at least, right? 1 hour is uh, practically nothing. So that is fine. Just make it quality 60 minutes. All right. And as far as your weekends are concerned, maximize your prep on the weekends. You have to compensate for the time, let's say, you're not able to devote here. Moreover, okay, let's say, where can you outshine a fresher or somebody who's in the final year of college? See, maybe they are watching more classes than you are, right? Maybe they are devoting more time than you are, but maybe they're not taking as many tests that you are. So, in test taking, in practice, in, let's say, focused understanding, selective watching of classes, rather than watching all the classes on a particular concept. This is where you can outshine. Okay, so this could be your strategy. Let's say 60 to 90 minutes on the weekdays, coupled with, of course, longer stretches on the weekends, at least this much. And, being very sincere. Let's say if these are also not continuous on the weekdays, focus on this. Okay, short tests, topic tests, practice tests. This is what you can do. Okay. All right. Backlogs is not a concern. I'm facing an issue with revision. I'm forgetting things quickly. Okay, so on Sundays, right, you can keep some time for revision. So let's say you did for 4 hours or for 6 hours, you learned new concepts or practice them, but keep at least 2 hours for revision. Okay, for revising whatever you've done during the week. So revision Sundays is what I call them. That'll help. Okay, all right. Let's see what else we have. The other doubts. Okay, so there was one from Insta AMA. How to avoid burnout during CAT prep? Last year I made the same mistake. I don't want to repeat it. Okay, this is a very important question. And what happens is that when we join a particular batch, when we start our prep, we are very enthusiastic, right? So let's say for the first few days, we study for 8 to 10 hours every day. Then after 15, 16 days of continuously doing it, there comes a crash, right? Probably we take a break, probably we pick up again we do the same routine, again there is a crash. After a while, the crashes become more frequent. This is burnout. So, in order to avoid this, start small but stay consistent, and keep some pockets every week. Every week you can keep such pockets. So for instance, let's say maybe Friday evening, maybe Saturday evening could be your uh, de-stressing time, right, wherein you do not study, wherein you do something that you like. So a lot of students, what they do is they follow this advice that they do not study, so they unplug from their studies. But actually, when you want to relax, unplugging from your studies, in addition to that, you need to plug into something that you truly enjoy, which is also not passive, most likely. So it could be any sports, it could be let's say maybe pursuing art if that's your hobby. It could simply be a stroll, a relaxing stroll while listening to music, and I think this is something that you can do every day. So this is very important, plugging into something that you like, building short breaks in between your prep, and something very, very important, peaking at the right time. There's something called peaking at the right time. So if let's say you go full throttle right from now, you are in a hurry to finish all the tests out there, topic tests, right? Then sectional tests. By the time probably you reach the full length mocks, you may already feel exhausted. So it's very important to space our preparation well. And I think if you join us, we make you do this automatically. We make you space the preparation because we tell you, okay, take this test, take that test. So you take tests accordingly. You are not in a hurry to finish all of them. So spacing your preparation is important so that you peak at the right time, near cat, on the cat day. Okay. All right. Let's see what else is there. Uh, just give me a second. I am going to our English channel. Okay, so we have a query from Sumuk. I am a 2025 pass out and have offers from big firms. Okay, in turn to full time based on my performance. For CAT 2026, should I join for safety or skip since work ex ज़्यादा count नहीं होगा? Need your guidance. I I mean, see, these, as I said, these are personal decisions, but my recommendation, if you ask me, that would be that if you can manage both a job and your prep, then I would recommend this. Why? There are multiple reasons. See, it's not like work count karne ke liye hi we work, right? It will give you legit experience, no matter how many months are counted for CAT or not. Okay, it will also give you clarity as to what you want to do, what you want to get out of an MBA, what you want to do post an MBA. Maybe you end up disliking it and you feel acha ye nahi karna after an MBA. Yes, so it will give you more clarity. And of course it will be a safety net, because god forbid, if let's say CAT 2026 does not work out for you, god forbid, in that case you'll have a job. Okay, so these are my recommendations, completely personal opinions. Okay. Flora girl says, I have 95% in 10th, great. 94.5 in 12th, good. Again, 7.5 CGPA in Agri as fresh pass out. Can I get into IMA or NIAM for Agri business? Your profile looks good, right? And what you can do is, Flora girl, IIM Ahmedabad releases their admissions policy, their admissions procedure. Okay, I am sure they must be doing it for their agribusiness course as well. So you can check it out there. Your acads look good to me. Okay, and you are a non-engineer, female, so the chances look good to me. Okay, but still you need to check it out once. I found questions about the assumed topic to be quite tricky. How to be proficient in it? Sarthak, the questions that we did in the class, they were tricky. I told you during the sessions also that these are all moderate to difficult or difficult questions. And to become proficient in them, you have to put yourself in the situation of, practicing more and more assumption questions. So what you can do is GMAT official guide. When you go for the GMAT official guide, it has mixed CR questions. So just use your laptop search feature and type assume. Just this bit. ASSUM. You will get all the questions that have this keyword assume in them, and then you can attempt those questions. You yourself will notice that, after you've practiced 50, 60 assumption questions, things will be clearer, patterns will be more familiar. This is what you need to do. Okay. How to manage all three subjects? How much to study? Okay. I totally feel you. Okay. Managing all the three subjects, it seems like a big task, especially when, Quant initially is very topic heavy. You have worksheets also if you're enrolled in Rodha. And even in LRDI, it feels like, okay, I don't know anything, I'm not able to solve this set. So just that, uh, assuming that you are a fresher, right? Assuming that you're in college, my suggestion to you would be go for two subjects every day, as in VRC plus Quant, VRC plus DILR. Practice them like this. This is apart from attending the classes. Why I'm putting VRC? It's not that I'm a biased person. Okay, it's because it involves reading, and reading is something that you'll have to do every day. So you can alternate your subject practice like this. Okay, and I'm sure your classes also, it's not like in some circumstances you may have a quant class every day, but usually it's not every day, right? Usually it's four classes or three classes per week. So this way I think you can manage your daily studies. Okay, and how much to study? See, don't think in these terms, how much to study. Go for task management rather than time management. So this is a piece of advice that a teacher gave to me when I was in class 10, and this has helped me a lot since then. If, let's say, your task for today is that I have to practice 2 DILR sets, if you finish them early, you finish them early. Just go and play for the rest of the time. However, if this is your task for the day, then make sure that you practice these 2 DILR sets. Maybe you're not able to crack them, then look at the solution, right? Understand it. So do this. I mean, go for task management. Okay. If I'm a CA, should I go for CFA or MBA? Okay, that's a good question. R3 course, are you providing the article for improving the VRC? There are 50 articles that are already uploaded on our portal, right? And we'll upload more when you finish those 50 articles. We also have an analysis of these articles. Okay, so it's not just the article. I have an offer of 15 LPA. So Aditya, I think you are asking me two separate questions. One is CFA or MBA, and one is whether I should join a job or not. Can I assume that? Okay. So, a choice between CFA and MBA, it entirely depends on your goals, right? If you want to continue as a chartered accountant, okay, in let's say one of the big fours, CFA is a very valuable addition there, right? However, if you want to, let's say, from a CA, you want to go towards managing a business, okay, maybe leading the finance vertical of a company, then an MBA makes more sense, right? So it depends on whether you basically see yourself in a managerial role later, or you see yourself in a very niche core um, finance related role, maybe a forensic analyst or something in EY, okay, something like that. So it depends on your goals. That's one thing. Okay, and secondly, this I would always be inclined towards joining a company, right? As I said, that if you can manage this, I'll always suggest you this. ठीक है. Can I do both simultaneously? Prepare CFA and MBA. That could be tricky. However, I have seen some students going for a CFA level 1 along with their MBA, not level 2. Level 2 is more difficult. Level 1 कर लेते हैं. Some students, they are able to manage level 1 with an MBA. Okay. All right. I just joined a company as a software developer. Now I want to go for an MBA to change my profile to a product manager. Okay. Need your guidance. I think then this is a very strong reason to go for an MBA, code with climb, because currently see the GDPI session is, I mean, time, it's the season of GDPI for CAT 2025. And a lot of students actually who are software developers, they are going for an MBA for precisely this reason, that they want to go into product management. So this is a strong motivation, and this is something that an MBA does prepare you for. Okay, you just need to, yeah, apply to the right companies at the time of placements. Okay. Is Arun Sharma sir's book the best for VRC, and which others are a must read for the purpose? Okay, let me just take up this question for, in fact, everybody. A lot of students think that going for books, via, whether it is for Quant, VRC, etc., is a great approach. Now, I can talk to you about VRC. Some of these books, they have good questions, but they don't have the correct answers, and that can be really confidence shattering when you attempt a question and probably you are right, but the answer given at the back is not the correct answer. So that's why I do not recommend any extra books, because for a book to be perfect, it needs to first have the correct answer, it needs to explain it well, it needs to be highly updated as per the cat pattern, which generally does not happen with books right now, MBA books. So I do not recommend any books. uh, for instance, if you noticed, if you are aware, cat 2025 had longer options, it had lengthier question stems. I am quite positive that no book available in the market right now has incorporated this. Any, in fact, any mock tests, any mock papers also incorporating this in the book. So I do not recommend books. Okay. What you can do, as I always tell you, if you are enrolled with us, we provide you with ample test material. You have physical booklets, you have online tests, okay, and you have sectionals, you have topic tests, you have mock tests. So test he test, right? So you need not worry in that case, and this is more than enough. However, if let's say you are not enrolled with us, in that case also, I would recommend that you go through the previous year papers. They are a very good source of what is actually happening. You can go for RC passages from the GMAT official guide, okay, apart from the PYQs. They are again of a good level, and they also have CR based questions, which are quite prevalent in CAT for the last 5-6 years. So, this is what my recommendation would be. ठीक है. Why aren't you taking my doubt? I'm sorry, Preeti. I'm sorry. Okay. So then, since there are a lot of them, I'm just missing some of them inadvertently. Can we appear for CAT in the second year of graduation? No, we can't. We can appear for it in the final year of our graduation. Now, this final year could be the third year for some of you in case it's a 3-year course, or the fourth year for some of you in case your course is a 4-year course. Since, yeah, NAP may, I think it would be this, right? If you are going for your entire graduation, or if you want a degree, right? Okay. All right. Let me just see if we have any other queries on the English channel. All right. No. Let me come back to our English channel in that case. Okay. Could you explain about the journey of CAT? What happens after November or CAT exam? As a fresher, I have no such ideas about what happens. Okay, good question. Let me walk you through what happens after CAT. So, CAT is the first, it's basically your entry ticket to being shortlisted. Once CAT is over, various B schools they release their shortlists. Various IIMs, even non-IIMs, they release their shortlists. So you are shortlisted on the basis of your CAT score, which at this stage carries approximately 50 to 65% of the weightage in the shortlisting process. So now you must be thinking, what else then apart from this? Your ACADS, previous year ACADS, 10th, 12th, and graduation marks, right? And apart from this, also diversity. So diversity, for instance, you could be bringing academic diversity. So some IIMs, some B schools, they offer you some extra points if you are a non-engineer, and some IIMs they offer you some extra points if you are a female, if you're a non-male. Okay, so this is how you are shortlisted. I think some IIMs, yeah, they are also considering WorkX at this stage. Huh? This is also there, yeah. So this is how you are shortlisted. But please remember that up to 65% weightage, okay, is your CAT score. So this is quite important here, right? After this shortlisting, you go for an interview. Now, this interview stage has a GD or WAT plus your personal interview. GD is group discussion. WAT is an essay writing ability test. So they make you write a 250 to 300 word essay on a topic, okay, in a span of 15 to 20 minutes. Then they assess you, okay. So finally, they give you the result, and in this result, what all do they take into account? Everything that has happened before. But what carries the most weightage? This PI at this stage carries approximately 40% or even higher weightage. Okay, so this is the entire process. All right, Sarthak, I hope this clarifies it. Aditya, can I get the chance in IMA as I am CA and CMA in the first attempt and I am confused? Should I go for MBA or not? Aditya, so you have a CA as well as a CMA, all right. These professional degrees, of course, carry value. And CMA in first attempt, okay. I mean, see, as I said, these are the criteria. So you can see this, that, okay, if you get a high CAT score, then that significantly increases your chances for getting shortlisted, right? And I am Ahmedabad, it doesn't offer points for gender diversity. If I'm right, and I checked it recently, it does not initially offer points for gender diversity. I think वो academic diversity के points देते हैं, they don't give points for gender diversity. Okay, so if let's say your acads is good, right, including your professional degrees, and you score a good score, then why not? Why would IMA not call you? Okay, so don't think like that. And CA plus MBA is actually a great combination, especially when you must have yourself seen this, that the partners in various big fours, a lot of these partners, a lot of these finance heads, they do have an MBA as well, right? I have an 84% in 10th, 69% in 12th, 8.4 CGPA, BTech, GEM. Okay. Around 1.5 years of WorkX. What college can I expect with giving my best? More than 99 percentile. This is a tricky one. So, uh, basically, you'll not get points for academic and gender diversity, right? Your college score is good, right? So, your in your acads, your graduation score is an asset. Okay, work experience is also decent. Yeah, work experience is also decent. So, you'll get this as well. Partly this, okay, not this. So, I think if you have a great score, you'll need a stellar score. With a stellar score, actually, various IIMs, in fact, the top IIMs are also possible. Black is also possible, right? But this is something that will be your single biggest differentiating asset. For engineers, it's just that they have to score much higher than the normal population. That's it. I am okay. Whenever I solve RCs, I face this problem. I narrow down to two options, but eventually mark the wrong one. So, is this a practice issue or an analysis issue? This is a practice issue. Okay. So, if you are a beginner, Priya, this is a very common beginner's issue that you're able to narrow down to two options, but then you may not be marking the correct one out of these. However, what is your strength? I mean, what can become an asset here? Learning from this. Okay, which pattern did I not recognize here? So when let's say for instance, if I get a question incorrect, first of all I see this. Okay, which pattern or which logic did I not recognize? Then I see, okay, was it that I didn't understand the question stem itself? Was it that I didn't understand the RC? So basically, where the problem was it in RC comprehension or was it in the question, in the attempt of the question? So these three learnings, these top three learnings, they help me to avoid such errors in the next attempts. It's a very gradual process. There's a learning curve to it, right? After practicing around 100 passages, you will see an inflection point where you're better able to recognize the logic, the patterns, where this mistake will slightly come down. Okay. Right, Aditya. Also, could you let me know about when the admission process starts and when the GD and PI occur? So the GD PI mostly occurs, for instance, they are happening right now for the old IMs. Let me just give you the exact window. Uh, so they go on, the interviews go on till March, I mean, late March, right? Till the last week of March, and they usually begin from the last week of January. So, yeah, for the major colleges, major B schools, right? I mean, some of them happen later as well, but usually the window is okay, 25 Jan to 30th March. So, this is the period in which your GDPI happen. And then you start getting some results. Okay, some of the IMs, they release results early. And if the interview happens early, the results are also usually released early. And then yes, so the admission process then I mean, it starts right after you receive an offer letter. Okay. Does a 2 year gap have any impact? I'm looking to take second one as I knew where my prep went wrong. It won't have an impact in the sense, see, for any gap years, okay, if there are any gap years, first of all, I don't really like calling them gap years. It's a very Indian thing, to frown upon gap years. It's a very common concept in a lot of other countries that people take breaks in order to think their life through or to prepare for something that they're really keen on. So, if let's say you have a strong reason to take a gap, if you have great learnings during that gap, and if you are able to narrate your story well during an interview, because they are likely to question you on this in the interview, then it's absolutely okay. All right. However, my suggestion would be that during this so called gap year, try and have some value additions, right? Uh, so, just a second. I was telling you that for this value addition, you can go for, let's say, if nothing else, okay, if let's say you don't want to go for any internships or anything, you can pursue some hobby of yours consistently. Okay, this will give you something to justify your story later, right? So do something other than cat prep as well. This is very good for your mental health as well. Okay, all right. uh, Tuba, just a second. Can you repost your query if that's possible? Started prep late, so looking to complete some certification. Yeah, then great. Okay, I am a mechanical engineer. Was preparing for government exams but couldn't. Okay, that's again, we have a lot of people who have prepared for UPSC earlier, right? How will be MBA as my plan B, and which stream will be appropriate for me? Acha, so are you still preparing for government exams? Then MBA can be called your plan B. Otherwise, it becomes the plan A today, right? And which stream, that is something that you decide. Okay, so what are you really interested in? What interests you? For instance, when you were preparing for government exams, what did you think you would be doing in the government organization? Would you be managing some operations, right? Would you be on the finance side? So maybe you were preparing to for SSC and wanted to go into CAG. So that is something that you decide. Okay, what stream interests you? And it could be an evolving thing as well. You don't have to decide right from today that I want to go for an MBA in finance or strategy. It could be an evolving thing, something that you decide later. Okay. How many hours daily a person should put, okay, to score 99 percentile? As I said, Chaitanya, sorry, it is not a game of the hours that you put. It is rather about what all are you accomplishing. So focus on the quality. But since you are asking me about the hours, I believe that, see, probably you'll be attending two classes, okay, or yeah, so let's say 4 hours of classes plus 2 more hours at least. Okay, so I mean, I know this looks steep. I know I'm asking for a lot from your life, right? But maybe let's say you are attending just one class live. So it has to be around this much, right? 4 to 6 hours of prep. Um, if you practice, during these, let's say for some of you it will be 4 hours, for some of you it will be 6 hours. If you are sincere, um, almost every day, right, about this, and you are achieving the goals that you set out to do, then that's enough. In VRC, if you don't provide daily article reading task, maybe it delays the preparation. For VRC, how should I proceed? For professionals, are you providing the discounts for R3 batch, if any? Okay, so this is a very, again, I don't want to generalize, I don't want to stereotype, but this is a very Indian trait where we want everything to be provided to us, right? For articles, if let's say I have told you the sources, okay, read articles from here, then you can always visit these sites and select the article yourself. There is a lot of value in that selection also, because you'll be going through 5 headlines and then deciding, okay, let me choose this. You'll become more aware in the process, right? So it will delay your preparation in case you are not sincere about it. Okay, that's one thing. For VRC, how should I proceed? I think I very amply told you what all you. Okay, but let me still give you a general overview what you need to do. So, first of all, of course, you have to read, but I know that this is the most generic advice available in the market right now. So, let us be very, very specific here. What exactly do you have to read? These are the sources. See, I was talking to you about article sources. So here are the sources. And if you see, this is just CAT 2025. But of course, you must be thinking that based on this, I can't decide, oh, I have to read from just these sources. So what we did here, we also gave you the sources for all the previous years. And then we actually made some conclusions. So these were our conclusions. Basically, you have to read from global sources, global newspapers, Guardian, NYT, right? Global magazines like The Economist. Okay, there was something called Knowable Mag. From which there was an article this time, there was an RC this time. Eon, all of you know about. Books, I understand they have been obscure, but you don't have to read such obscure books. We don't expect you to. Okay, so for instance, if I look at the book here, Empire and Nation, many of you may not have read this book, and that's okay, right? If I look at CAT 2025, the book here was an academic book, a companion to the philosophy of technology. You may not have read it, and that's okay. What you can do is you can read some non-fiction books that give you a broad idea of various genres. Okay, so here are some suggestions from my end for that. So, first thing is reading, because you asked me how to proceed. First is reading articles, reading books. Okay, in books, non fiction, of course, will help you a lot, but it's not like fiction won't help you at all. You have to build a reading habit through books. Through articles, you have to read the kind of sources that form the sources of your cat. Okay. So now, is that it? No, you have to build some vocabulary as well. I understand that some of the working professionals, they may not have time to go for vocabulary books. In that case, you can just play vocabulary quizzes, right? So, for instance, Magoosh has an app. They have a brilliant vocabulary quiz. You can just download that. It's called Vocabulary Builder by Magoosh. Okay. So you can go for that. But again, this is not, so this is just vocabulary and reading, but I've still not talked to you about solving. You have to solve, because ultimately that's what you'll be doing in the exam. So solving 1 to 2 RC passages, I mean, from March, 2 RC passages. So this will take you 30 minutes. If you go for a vocabulary book, 10 to 15 minutes every day to that, right? Fiction or non-fiction, newspaper, it could be a national daily. Now this is on your discretion, because this is for your GDPI prep. This will help you in your GDPI prep. And 2 articles every day from the sources that I have just shown you. So I know that this is a lot, but of course you may not go for all of this every day. So probably 60 minutes every day to VARC has to be given, wherein of course this is very important, the solving part. So you can divide it into reading and solving your prep. Okay, welcome, welcome. uh, Able to solve familiar topic cat RCs, but when difficult unfamiliar text come, comprehension drops a lot. Solution, please, repeater. So V7, as I suggested, we can't assume that cat will provide me RCs on only those topics that I am familiar with. So how do I deal with unfamiliar topics? First is that I try to be open and curious about understanding what it is talking about. It may slow me down in the beginning, but anyway, I always tell you that please read the opening paragraph relatively slowly. You don't have to hurry in the opening paragraph. Third, as I already suggested, I try to imagine it in the form of a picture. Okay, as if there's a movie going on in front of me that is actually showing what I'm reading currently. So I activate another sense of mind. It aids me in understanding stuff. And I simplify sentences. If it's a long sentence, I break it into parts. If it's a complex word, I try to infer it from the context. So this is what I do. And lastly, I'm a little relaxed also, because I may not understand each and every sentence, and that doesn't bother me a lot. I just need to understand the crux. Okay. It turns out to be wrong. So, Swapnil, you need to analyze why that is happening, that you feel it is correct, but it is turning out to be wrong. Okay. When will the sectionals start? I think we should start with the sectional somewhere in March or April. I mean, we'll start uploading them in March or April, right? Probably March. I feel VRC is the easiest, yet I score the least in it. We feel that VRC is the easiest because we confuse VRC with English. We feel, oh, see, I read it, I understood it also, but solving is a skill in itself. That's why I said that in your daily, routine, you have to integrate solving as a very important component. All right. Finally, a college student. Okay, okay, okay. In my recent SEM, can someone with this profile realistically clear CAT? Yes. Profile is just a part of your story. Students think that profile is everything. No, it's as you just saw, while shortlisting, it's CAT that matters. In the final selection, PI carries 40% plus weightage. So a lot of the story is in your hands, right? A lot of the story is still in your hands. So profile is just a part of the picture. Okay, it's kind of easy for me, but filling the blank type is difficult for me. So you see, this is good that you know what is easy for you, what is difficult. So that means you just need to focus more on missing sentence then. Yes. Okay. uh, in VRC, if you don't provide, acha, okay, ये हो गया था. This was done. Trying to cover backlogs. Okay, it feels like a never-ending loop. Uh, Tuba, see, this is something that I've already answered. So you can just probably watch the recording of this session, right? As I said that in the you need to be a little smart and selective about backlogs. You need not attend everything. So in the very beginning of this session, I answered this. Okay. Uh, I think I have answered many of your queries, right? And I don't see any new queries right now. And let me just check the English channel once. Yeah, no new queries here as well. All right, then. So, this is the note that I want you to, that I want to leave you with, that it's all about consistency. It's not about intelligence. It's not about profile. It's about, are you willing to invest into learning something every day? Taking just small steps every day, not big steps over the weekends, let's say. Just small little steps every day, and that really sees you through in cat, no matter where you stand currently in VRC or in fact in LRDI, one of the most feared sections, right? If you're just willing to open your mind incrementally every single day, a little more, it'll see you through. Okay, so all the very best and see you in classes. Bye bye.